we did find a number of Kenyans at Sakan who are already in the process of being helped to go home.
And from Kampala, lessons from Uganda-based lecturer Florence Githinji on why Kenyans should consider daring in the Pearl of Africa.
It's a very welcoming country for business, for studies, for networking.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Welcome to the home of the latest gospel hits,
Amazing Bible teachings,
great conversations,
in studio and live on location shows.
As are we crossing over? Jesus taking over.
all this under one show, and that is
Me tell you real things, he say,
That airs this and every Sunday from 11:30 to 1 p.m. only on NTV.
yes, sir.
From Sunday to Sunday.
Want to know the biggest story of the week? Do not worry. The Weekly Review got you covered. For in-depth analysis of politics, business, governance, as well as social issues, the Weekly Review covers it all. For well-researched, exclusive and investigative content, read the Weekly Review every Sunday in the Sunday Nation. This is NTV.
Tonight, the judiciary stays on the headlines. This time, vocal lawyer and harsh critic of the Supreme Court, Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, is the subject of a total life ban from the highest court in the land over his continued attacks on judges and the judiciary. However, the lawyer, who is a former member of the Judicial Service Commission, remains defiant despite the strongly worded statement by the full 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court, insisting that it is a corrupt court. Welcome to the broadcast. NTV Tonight begins now. Tonight, a supreme ban for maligning judges. Has the Grand Mullah been mauled by Supreme Court judges for labeling the court as corrupt? Also tonight,
kuna askari mwingine amekuja kanishika kanipeleka Central. Lakini nikaenda nikajitetea na nikatoka.
Working for and with the children. The story of a Mombasa tuk-tuk driver who moves around with her babies. Plus,
ni kulala kazini wao waheshimiwa. Mtu anachukua kura, ile pesa wanapewa ya development ya kao ya ward. Sijui inaenda wapi.
A dangerous crossing. A constituency border and political tussle risks the lives of Nyabisia residents. And
kulingana na venye nilikuwa nasikia, stima ikiingia kwa mwili lazima ijaribu kutoka.
A lucky escape. Adrian Wangela lives to tell the tale of an electric shock incident that took away his arm. Kenya Power denies responsibility.
Live from Nation Center, this is NTV Tonight with Ben Kitili.
Welcome. Our sign language interpreter tonight is David Agondoa. Now, the judiciary is once again embroiled in a mud fight. This time, senior counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, who has been a constant critic of the judiciary, has been permanently barred from appearing before the Supreme Court. In a letter addressed to Ahmed Nasir, the Office of the Registrar of the Supreme Court has accused the seasoned lawyer of constantly scandalizing, ridiculing, and denigrating the Supreme Court. NTV Sydney Chazima is working on that story. Shall be bringing the details in a short while. Let's go to Kariobangi South now, where an 8-year-old boy is learning the ropes afresh following the amputation of his right arm after suffering an electric shock. Adrian Wangela came into contact with electrical wires that hung precariously between plots in Harmony area. His family says Kenya Power and Lighting Company has not done anything since the incident to ensure safety of the residents in the area. And as NTV's Olive Barrows reports, Kenya Power also is distancing itself from the incidents.
Meet the Ndungos. They make a beautiful family portrait. Just to look at them, you can't tell what a harrowing year it's been. It's not until you take a closer look that you realize 8-year-old Adrian Wangela has a burn scar that runs down the right side of his face down from his ear, and that his head has several scars. It's not by accident either that he's seated on his father's left side. You see, that way, it's not immediately obvious that he's missing his right arm. It's been his reality for the last year now.
Tulisikia tu mlipuko, tukadhani tu ni transformer kawaida. Mimi pande yangu nilidhani ni transformer kawaida. Juu saa zingine transformer huwa zinalipuka. But within seconds, nikasikia watu tena wamepiga nduru.
Up until then, January the 12th, 2023 had been a Thursday evening like any other. Adrian's mother in their Kariobangi South home with his month-old baby sister, his father shooting the breeze at the shops a few meters away, and Adrian playing on the balcony. That is until he had the life-altering misfortune of making contact with one of the many electrical wires that hang low in between the plots that make up Harmony in Kariobangi South.
Kulingana na venye nilikuwa nasikia, stima ikiingia kwa mwili lazima ijaribu kutoka. Na wakati ilijaribu kutoka kwa kichwa, haikutoka. So iliseparate nyama ya kichwa na skale. Ikakuwa sasa kichwa imefula kama barune. Kuna picha ziko hapo, na sorry to say, hizo picha sikuwahi kuonesha hata mama Adrian.
It took 4 trips to the theatre at the Kenyatta National Hospital and a costly hospital stay before Adrian was on the mend. Now that Adrian is adjusting to his new normal, Ndungo can pause to reflect on who is responsible for putting his son in harm's way.
Kuja kulia rais, kumbe mtoto mwingine ameshapiwa na stima the same spot. Sasa hiyo waya ni high voltage. Sijui kwa nini kama ni watu wa Kenya Power hawakufanya ile kitu tunasamanga kama insulation. Jua kama hiyo ikiwa karibu inaweza fanya damage kubwa.
Kenya Power says it would need to verify specific connections to ascertain whether it was an illegal connection. And while Kenya Power denies having in its records an incident report, Nungu says Kenya Power switched off power to the plot immediately following the incident, and he later made a report.
Nienda pale Rwaraka, na kwa bahati nilipata wakidiscuss hiyo issue ya Adrian au watu wa Kenya Power. So wakaniambia wamejua hiyo issue yote venye imeenda na wameforward hiyo maneno yote kwa timu yao ya safety. Ikuje wabadilishe hiyo waya za stima zitoke karibu na buildings zisongeshwe bere kidogo.
And as for the continued danger the lines continue to pose, Kenya Power states building regulations are handled by county governments. Kenya Power only handles wayleave clearance, which is defined for different power line voltages. In a nutshell, developers are required to observe the recommended wayleave clearance when putting up buildings so as not to endanger the lives of occupants.
Kenya Power hawajawahi kuja kuniuliza ama mtoto anaendeleaje. Mwenye nyumba na yeye hata wakati mtoto alikuwa hospitali hajai hata mtu umekaa naye over 10 years haja hata hakuwahi piga simu aulize nimesikia so and so imehapenia mtoto wako, mtoto anaendeleaje. mpaka yani hata ile utu sasa.
So who left 8-year-old Adrian exposed? Is it Kenya Power, the owner of the plot, or the county government? And who will lift a finger to neutralize the threat the live wires pose? In all the finger pointing. Olive Burrows, NTV.
Nairobi-based detectives drawn from the homicide unit are set to take over investigations into the mysterious death of Laban Langat, the intern doctor at Nakuru Level 5 Hospital, whose body was found in a trench at the facility. Tonight, we trace Langat's last moments, as told by two people he encountered on his way back to the hospital after a night out at an entertainment joint. NTV's Ruth Sarmoy reports.
After Laban Langat left the entertainment joint in London at 12 a.m, as seen in this CCTV footage, he is said to have walked for about 700 meters until this junction connecting the Nakuru Cabernet and the ASK Showground Road. At 21 midnight, the arena's CCTV captures Laban walking into the liquor store adjacent to the showground, where he meets Emmanuel Cheruyot, the security guard manning the stall.
Akakuja akatuambia naenda medical. Sasa ile harakati ya kusema medical mimi nikadhani huyu anaenda kuona mgonjwa, sikuwa nimejua kama yeye ni daktari ama nini. Sasa nikadhani anaenda kuona mgonjwa, na ile harakati alikuwa amelewa, nikamwambia wefanyaje, tafuta pikipiki sababu hiyo njia kwenda hadi medical huwa ni giza.
A few moments later, Laban is seen heading to the road and then returning to the store before walking back to the road where he stops a motorcycle. 5 minutes have passed since his arrival.
Mtu wa kwanza alikuja na pikipiki, wakasikizana bei au kusikizana bei vizuri. Huyo akaenda. Sasa mimi nikasema huyo ana maybe pesa. Mimi sikuwa na shughuli tena, nile nikaendelea tu na kazi yangu. After few minutes nikamwona ashapanda pikipiki akaenda. That's why the following day nikasikia ati aliuawa.
We talked to Dominic Yegon, the bodaboda rider who ferried Langat.
Nilimpata akitoka Havana club, kamuuliza kazi kama anaenda. Akaniisharia tu kwamba haendi. Mimi nikaachana naye akaenda kwenye alikuwa anaenda. So mimi nikakaa like about some few minutes hapo, like 10 to 15 minutes. So on my way nikapatana naye. So mimi nikasimama. So wakati nilisimama nikapata kumbe the same game mwenye niuliza kazi pale akakataa. So akaniambia nimpeleke.
We trace Langat's last moments as told by Dominic. He tells us that Langat was silent in the about 1 hour kilometer journey from the spot he was picked up to the hospital where he was dropped. We are forced to leave the motorcycle outside the hospital gate to access the facility, since motorcycles are not allowed beyond this point. And after walking for nearly 200 meters, we arrived at the spot where the deceased was dropped. It is a junction leading to the staff quarters and the hospital morgue on one side, and the other heading to the maternity wing. He is said to have walked towards the maternity wing, a distance of 100 meters from the spot he alighted, and that's where his body was found, in this drainage.
So mimi nikampeleka vizuri hadi huko kwenye alikuwa ananiambia tufike. So kufika hapo junction ya kwenda mochari na kwenda Margaret, akaniambia niachie hapa brother. So mimi nikaamua kumwachia hapo, kwenye ameniambia nimwachie, akanitumia pesa yangu na mimi nikajiendea. Mimi nilimwacha akienda direction ya Margaret. So kama alirudi akatana akaenda hii side nyingine, mimi labda nilikuwa nishaenda. Gate niliingia tu taratibu, kama ananiuliza kitu.
The scene is barely 50 meters from the entrance of the delivery section. Langat was not on call on the fateful night he died. DCI have rubbished claims that the hospital's CCTV footage was tampered with. Ruth Sarmoy, NTV, in Nakuru.
We continue to stay on that developing story for you. Now, in Mombasa, tuk-tuk taxis are the most preferred mode of travel over short distances. Hundreds of the three-wheeler cabs driven by men dominate the streets at the coastal city, but one woman is beating the odds and has ventured into the male-dominated sector. That is not all. She drives customers around Mombasa CBD, accompanied by her 2 children. NTV's Fatma Bogu has a story of Rehema Ali who has been driving tuk-tuks for over 6 years now.
At the Likoni ferry in Mombasa, we meet Rehema breaking all odds, driving her tuk-tuk while holding her 8-month-old child, her 3-year-old daughter seated at the back.
Sikusoma lakini nimejipeleka mwenyewe college. Nimesukuma mawe, nikajipeleka mwenyewe college, lakini katika kwenye mendi yangu mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa natamani yani mambo ya magari.
Tuk-tuk business is perceived as a male-dominated industry and not a comfort zone for women. But for Rehema, what a man can do, a woman can do even better. She ventured into the male-dominated sector after separating with her husband and left with the responsibility of single-handedly taking care of her children. She had no education to secure her a job.
Lakini idea yangu haikuwa kwenye tuk-tuk, lakini sasa hii nimependa kwa sababu napata kipato changu. Hiyo ndio inalisha watoto wangu, hiyo ndio avalisha watoto wangu, hiyo ndio kila kitu changu. Mimi sina mtu wa kumtegemea, najitegemea mimi mwenyewe.
Every day she weaves through the streets of Mombasa. She has mastered the art of getting around traffic, past cars and motorbikes. She has no one to leave her 2 children with at home and was left with no option but take them along on her daily hustle. A decision that attracted hate and love in equal measure from locals, relatives and friends. Her journey begins by crossing the ferry every morning from the south coast, Likoni, to the north coast where she lines up waiting for passengers. She says at the beginning people avoided her tuk-tuk after noticing she was driving with a child.
Mwingine atapanda, aseme mlete antio mtoto, atambeba. Kuna mwingine, mtoto wangu huyu yuko huko nyuma lakini akajaribu kumgusa. Yani yeye ni special ataki atakuguswa. Lakini hivyo napambana nazo.
Several times Rehema says she has been arrested for driving her tuk-tuk accompanied by her children.
Kuna askari mwingine amekuja kanishika kanipeleka Central. Lakini nikaenda nikajitetea na nikatoka.
Naweza kumwachia mtoto maybe ndiye afanywe kazi ingekuwa fadhali, lakini kufanya kazi na mtoto pale mbele naona anaweza akafanya yule mtoto. Maana inafaa mtoto akae na wenzake kidogo afanye mazoezi.
However, despite the challenges, she enjoys it as it enables her meet the daily needs. She hopes that one day she will be able to own a tuk-tuk.
Vigumu kuweka mfanyikazi kwa sababu sasa kipato changu kiko chini. Tuk-tuk si yangu hii. Tuk-tuk ni ya boss. Jioni nateka na shilingi 1000 ama 800. Na nikisema pengine naeka mfanyikazi, nitashindwa na kumlipa ule mfanyikazi. Nitashindwa kabisa. Sina uwezo.
Rehema is yet to meet another woman driving a tuk-tuk along her daily route. For now, she's taking it one day at a time. Fatma Bogu, NTV, Mombasa.
Tonight, the judiciary is once again embroiled in a mud fight. This time, Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, who has been a constant critic of the judiciary, has been permanently barred from appearing before the Supreme Court. In a letter addressed to Ahmed Nasir, the Office of the Registrar of the Supreme Court has accused the seasoned lawyer of constantly scandalizing, ridiculing and denigrating the Supreme Court. And as NTV's Sydney Chazima now reports, a host of senior lawyers have come to the defense of Ahmed Nasir, who was laughed off the ban.
The protracted spat between Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi and the Supreme Court of Kenya has reached a nasty crescendo. A letter addressed to the Senior Counsel by the Registrar of the Supreme Court, L.M. Washira, has expressed the Supreme Court's decision to permanently bar the seasoned lawyer from appearing before it, either in his own capacity, through an employee of his law firm or any other person holding brief for him or acting pursuant to his instructions. The Supreme Court Registrar's letter has based its decision on what is being termed as constant attacks from the senior lawyer conveyed through print, broadcast and social media, which have been deemed to have scandalized, ridiculed and denigrated the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court argues that Ahmed Nasir was under caution against his attacks on the highest court of the land, making reference to the case of the Republic versus Ahmad Abdul Fadhi, Mohammed and Anor Senior Counsel petition of 2018, where Ahmed Nasir was made aware that any further attacks will not go unpunished. But in reaction to the ban, Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir, or the Grand Mullah, as he is fondly referred to in the corridors of law, has laughed off the Supreme Court's decision. According to his post on X, the Supreme Court's decision is one he takes as a badge of honor. He goes ahead to term the court as the most corrupt in Kenya. Equally, senior practitioners of the law in the shape of Retirement Benefits Board Chair Nelson Havi and Omwanza Ombati have termed the Supreme Court's decision as troubling, bizarre, unlawful and unconstitutional. Havi goes on to argue that the decision will be quashed by the High Court and further result in embarrassment of the Supreme Court. At the time this report went on air, Ahmed Nasir had not responded to NTV and promised to do so in due course. The Supreme Court, aware of a possible quest for redress from the lawyer, quips that it is untenable that Ahmed Nasir would seek justice in the very institution and before the very judges whose reputation and integrity he never tires of assaulting. It is still not clear whether the senior counsel will challenge the Supreme Court's decision, bearing in mind he still bears the right to appeal. Sydney Chazima, NTV.
You're watching NTV tonight. Thank you for staying with us. Before we take a quick commercial break, here's what to expect in tomorrow's edition of the Daily Nation. IMF's bid appeal for taxpayers. No respite for Kenyans, as Kenyans are set for another season of more tax paying as the government starts implementing the International Monetary Fund IMF-backed revenue measures that the government is expecting to yield some additional 806 billion shillings over the next 3 years. That is on page 7 of the Daily Nation. Still on that page, we shall be waiting for the Court of Appeal to rule on the rollout of the new social health insurance fund tomorrow. And of course, why Ruto? We'll tell you why Ruto and Raila feuds are threatening the Bomas reports. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we shall be telling you why the Teachers Service Commission has transferred its teachers, all 17 of them, from Isongo Secondary School in the county of Kakamega. Stay with us.
Draw yetu. Changanya. Chokore.
Niko tayari.
Nipatie tiketi.
Hello Joseph. Hey. Uko maeneo gani sasa hivi vile tunaongea na wewe?
Sasa niko Umoja.
Joseph Mburu. Wewe ndiye mshindi. Wa. Jijenge na boti. Gari ya pili ni yako.
Sisi kwetu hakuna mtu ashai kuona ndai. Mko wangu pia atafurahia, hata sijui akiona atafurahiaje. Sikuwa naamini na nimeamini saa hii. Ndoto moto ni ukweli na watu waendelee kucheza, wacheze kabisa, wakicheza kabisa watawin na pia mimi naendelea kucheza.
It's Friday and things are looking a bit boring. Fanta. Submit to the fizziest of fizz. Surrender to a bubbly bliss. Fall for the tangiest of tangs. Succumb to the flavor frenzy. Fanta. Indulge with a sip and snack.
Tukupandishe on Go Entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value. Utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max ujinice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV stream. GoTV, love it.
Join the Optiven family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optiven, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optiven's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optiven, inua shamba.
Sign up with a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
Welcome back. You're watching NTV Tonight. Now, a video clip shared on social media of a child crossing a dangerous bridge has put Bomachoge, Borabu and Bobasi constituencies on the spot of a dilapidated makeshift bridges at the border of the two constituencies. The backlash comes against the backdrop of well-wishers moving with speed to arrest imminent danger, and the politicians who should be driving attending to development in the counties take a back seat. NTV's Melita Oletenges is in the county of Kisii and our reports.
A mother, Nancy Gitoi, and her two children make a chilling crossing above the raging Mugonga River. Every step they take is uncertain, especially with the wet surface they are walking on. But the thirst for education has to be quenched, and this is the only way to school.
Naacha kazi yangu, nafukisa watoto, tena na time lunch time na nakuja na wachukua. Chioni pia ni hivyo nateseka sana. Tuko na shida kwa kitu ne huruma. Pengine watoto wakitoka shule, wengine wanaweza fanya mchezo kwa hii daraja, waanguke ndani. Sasa tuna wasiwasi mingi.
Many of the school-going children in Mombasa Primary School use this bridge. Mothers carrying children on their backs and even the elderly who are frail in their old age. Every step here must be calculated lest one falls over the bridge and gets swept away by the raging river under it.
Kuna walevi kila mahali. Kuna pombe hapa ng'ambo, mtu amekunywa anafuka kidogo, watu wanamngoja nyumbani afiki. Marafiki wanasema tulikuwa na yeye hapa Mugonga. Wanaanza kufuata. Alikuja akashukia hapa pikipiki. Kidogo tunaanza kutafuta mtoni.
Villagers say there has been a standoff for ages.
Pita daraja.
Ikifika wakati wako wanatuambia watatutengenezea. Wanakuja wanatupatia pesa. Wanaenda. Hawakuji.
Well-wishers led by comedian Eric Omondi are now consolidating funds to construct a new bridge, putting the government on the spot for what they term as misplaced priorities instead of addressing pressing issues.
There's 1.3 billion that has been set aside. ECO, could renovate State House. Mr. President, this is a request from Eric Omondi to you. Stop the renovation of State House and state lodges. Stop it now. Put some money on these bridges. Put some money in education.
Nimekuja tu kusaidia juu nilihurumia huyo mtoto venye niliona akicross hapa nikaona kama ni yule wangu, so nikasikia huruma tu nikasema nikuje nisaidie.
These pupils are literally a sleep away from tragedy, but they have no choice but to use this narrow makeshift footbridge to cross River Mugonga daily to school and back. Sad state of affairs in this day and age. Even as well-wishers gather to raise funds to construct a modern footbridge, questions linger. What are your taxes used for? Melita Oletenges, NTV, River Mugonga, Kisii County.
Enough said. The Teacher Service Commission has transferred 17 teachers from St. Gabriel Isongo Secondary School in the county of Kakamega. This follows an incident that saw parents storm the school and eject the principal, David Bofula, of a poor performance in the 2023 KCSE exams. TSC says the move was prompted by the need to ensure the teachers' safety. NTV's Zacchaeus Mosame reports from Kakamega.
This was last week. Parents stormed St. Gabriel Isongo Secondary School in Umiasi East constituency in Kakamega, frogmatted the school principal David Wafla from his office, angered by the school's poor performance in last year's KCSE results.
Huyu mwalimu akikuja hapa minisco ilikuwa 5. Amerudisha chini paka imefika 2. Hii shule ni kubwa sana, anaangusha shule. Kubadilisha walimu wa board kila mwezi.
Days later, the Teacher Service Commission has transferred 17 teachers from the school. On Thursday, parents and the school's management met at the school to chart a way forward following the withdrawal and transfer of 17 teachers.
Whatever happened, kama wazazi, mimi kama mama, tunanyenyekea chini yenu. Hata kama tulifanya makosa, mtusamehe, mturudishie walimu, wanafunzi wetu waendelee kusoma.
Tafadhali. Only that we did not react in the best way. Lakini tunaomba msamaha, tuletee walimu, wazazi, watoto wetu wasome, na wakati walimu wanakuja, tafadhali viongozi wetu, msipatie mwalimu ample time ana afanye chenye anataka kwa njia yote ile. Wakati mzazi angekuja na any complaint hasikizwi.
Sub-County Director of Education Boniface Ouko maintains that learning will go on with the 15 BOM teachers available.
It has to be sorted out through negotiations with the Teacher Service Commission, so that actually we can have the teachers back, be posted back. But for now, the Board of Management is in charge of the school. There is minimal learning, we accept.
It is very unfortunate that those people who are doing that are the products of these teachers. Some of them have been taught by these teachers, the rest of them are dropouts. I want to say we will not allow that again, and we will take very serious action on them.
Kenya Union of Post-Primary Teachers, KUPPET, condemned the incident, demanding the removal of all the teachers.
We have gone to Isongo, picked our brothers and sisters. We are with them here because their security in that school is not assured. Mtu hawezi kuingia kwa shule na panga na rungu, halafu walimu wanaingia huko, hawajui mtu atakuja na kisu, tutakuwa tunangoja nini?
Out of the 179 candidates in last year's KCSE, only 2 qualified to join university, with 4 scoring grade E. The school had a mean score of 2.9. Zacchaeus Masame, NTV.
Gatundu North families whose farms have been submerged by a Kariminu 2 dam water are living in fear of landslides after the water reached their homesteads. The residents of Iruri, Kanyoni, Gituamba and Kiriko said that a tragedy is looming after structures within their homes, including pit latrines, started filling with water, while others caved in. NTV's Margaret Kimathi has that story.
At the home of James Karaoke, a pit latrine caved in on Monday evening, leaving the family with nowhere to relieve themselves. They are now living in fear of losing their entire home to the dam. The locals claim that the multi-billion dam has turned into misery since water impoundment started in May 2022.
Kuna mama mwingine alienda kwa hicho ikabomoka. Saa hii hatuna mahali ya kwenda choo, hakuna mahali, hakuna kitu ya kukula huku. Tunaambiwa tuhame hapa, hii maji tunakuja kuvulia manguo hapa. Na choo yenye imebomoka ndio hii. Sasa maji kwa huku chini, hata ukikuja kuchota maji hapa bado unaogopa.
Unaona so inaanza kuteremka chini na maji kawa juu. Sasa hiyo maji hata wale wanakunywa maji wanakunywa kitu baya. Na hata nema kama wanakuja, mimi nasema ukweli, wakija waangalia wataona ni ukweli, mimi nasema.
The residents say the dam, which they thought would address some of their problems like lack of water in their homes, has been nothing but a cause of predicaments. They say the only thing they got from the dam is mosquitoes and severe cold. They are also concerned about the safety of their school-going children.
Kama serikali ingeingilia juu ya hii mambo tu hatungekuwa hapa. Saa hii tungekuwa tumehamishwa. Kama wangetulipa tungekuwa tumehama. Na hatuwezi hama kama hatujapata kilicho chetu. Juu wenye walilipo bado wao walienda, sisi hatuendi. Tunaambiwa tuende na tujui tunaambiwa tuende wapi.
Tunauliza serikali ikuje itusaidie, isaidie hawa watu wetu wa Kalemeno, kwa sababu tukishida tukisema ati wakuje na wakuji, wakati kutakuwa na fifo, wakati kutakuwa na landslide siingie kwa Kalemeno dam, ndio wakati hiyo tutaona watu wamekimbia sana.
In November last year, Water Cabinet Secretary Zachary Njeru, during a visit to assess the dam, announced that the government had set aside 150 million shillings to compensate and relocate some 122 residents whose properties, including land and homes, were on the verge of being submerged by the already full dam. Will the government act when it's too late? Margaret Kimathi, NTV.
Time for another short break. Don't go anywhere. We're back shortly.
Mwanangu, unapozidi kukua, mwili wangu unapitia mabadiliko mengi sana. Lakini the new nice and lovely flawless bio body oil inatunza mwili wangu, and I get to celebrate my journey with you. New nice and lovely flawless bio body oil imeboreshwa na 4 natural oils. Kupunguza the appearance of stretch marks, ku-even skin tone, na ku-improve skin firmness. Flawless is a feeling. 9 out of 10 Kenyan women agree it worked for them.
Draw yetu. Anza. Changanya. Chokore.
Niko tayari.
Nipatie tiketi.
Hello Joseph. Hey. Uko maeneo gani sasa hivi vile tunaongea na wewe?
Sasa niko Mombasa.
Joseph Mburu. Wewe ndiye mshindi. Wa. Jijenge na bodi. Gari ya pili ni yako.
Sisi kwetu hakuna mtu ashai na ndai. Mko wangu pia atafurahia, hata sijui akiona atafurahiaje. Sikuwa naamini na nimeamini saa hii. Ndoto moto ni ukweli na watu waendelee kucheza, wacheze kabisa, wakicheza kabisa watawin, na pia mimi naendelea kucheza.
It's time to get stepping. Step up to your most loved content and enjoy the next level upgrade for free.
Respect that.
Upgrade now and step up to even more action. Step up to more football. Step up to more local drama. Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a really good day.
Panadol Extra releases you from strong pain. Panadol, release starts here.
People come to me and they say they get discomfort when they have ice cream. Can you imagine that? Avoiding having cold ice cream. Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. And people come in and they're like, oh, it works. I can have ice cream and I'm not in any discomfort. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Join the Optiven family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optiven, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optiven's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optiven, Inua Shamba.
Good evening. It is time for business news, and my name is Anina Shaban.
Onto a fast story, Kenya has for the first time tapped into the International Monetary Fund's exceptional access window, an avenue used by the Bretton Woods lender to extend concessional financing above the limits normally prescribed in a bid to strengthen an economy's ability to deal with relatively elevated macroeconomic pressures. Now, this follows approval of $941.2 million, or just about 150.1 billion shillings, increase in the size of the ongoing program with Kenya on Wednesday by the IMF's executive board. This is the third and largest increase in the size of Kenya's program, an increase which has now pushed the total size to just about 706.7 billion shillings. The boost in Kenya's program is expected to help the economy comfortably settle the 319 billion shillings Eurobond due for maturity in June.
Still higher than where they were, say, in the early 2022, right? And the global interest rates remain elevated, making it very costly for Kenya to access the bond market to refinance the full 2 billion Eurobond ahead of its maturity in June. And hence, approval by the IMF of Executive Board today of additional financing from the fund is to support Kenya during these uncertain times for frontier economies, not just Kenya, but pretty much, all the frontier economies are facing difficulty in effective access to the bond market. But again, this is also, the additional funding that's coming from the fund is a recognition that what Kenya faces is a liquidity problem. Although they're implementing very important and strong policies and commitment to ensure that Kenya navigates out of this and realizes its strong potential in the medium term.
Hand in hand with that, Treasury says that the government-to-government G2G oil importation arrangement introduced in April 2023 to address foreign exchange challenges in the country has had an opposite effect as it created distortions in the currency market. In disclosures to the International Monetary Fund about the initiative, the Treasury also noted that there is an increase in rollover risk in relation to the initiative, expressing intentions to exit the deal in December. The arrangement introduced by President William Ruto's government in April last year was billed as one that would address scarcity of US dollars, with senior government officials promising that exchange rates would soon stabilize in favor of the Kenyan shilling. There seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel for Mumia's sugar company, as Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza says that he's talking with the national government to ensure the writing off of its 33 billion shillings worth of debt. While visiting the plant on Thursday, the governor further urged farmers to increase sugarcane planting, promising that his government will help them with inputs. Field officers have been hired to train farmers who will also help spread the message of sugarcane promotion in Kakamega and beyond. Mumia's sugar factory resumed cane crushing officially on the 1st of December last year, and the miller was not among the 5 that the cabinet approved a debt waiver of 117 billion shillings last year.
Wakulima watakuwa wanalipwa kwa wakati shilingi 650 kwa tani.
In a bid to boost business in the tough economic times, Forest Cubs is expanding its fleet by introducing comfort ride services where one can rent out luxury cars for monetary value in return. The amenities that will set luxury cars features aside include in-car technology, spacious interiors, and a personalized service.
African company that is using technology, digital technology, to advance entrepreneurial and business activities in this region. It is entering a global market which is dominated by big non-African global companies, and they are at the cutting edge of technology in this particular industry.
That's it for business news. My name is Nina Shaban. Bernard will be coming up next with the sports news.
with a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
New Nivea Luminous visibly reduces dark spots. Does it really work? Trust me. For post-acne marks too? Of course. World's #1 anti-spot expert serum, now for post-acne dark marks and age spots. Visible results in just 2 weeks. That means also for my age spots. Already worked for over 1 million women. Nivea Luminous 630. It works.
The Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Water Sector Trust Fund, the Council of Governors and other collaborating institutions welcome you to the Water and Sanitation Investors Conference at KICC, Nairobi, Kenya from 6th to 8th March 2024. The theme of the conference is Accelerating Investments for Sustainable Access to Water and Sanitation for All. To participate in the conference, visit www.wasic-invest.ke. See you there. Water Sector Trust Fund, financing the water sector.
When you're finally released from pain, that moment when you start to get back to ordinary, and ordinary feels amazing. Whatever pain you're going through, release starts here.
Hello there, it's time for the sports update. Good evening, I'm Bernard Ndong. Now, it will cost 1.4 billion Kenya shillings to complete the facelift of the Buhungu Stadium, which has been earmarked to host the African Nations Championships CHAN later this year. Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba, who toured the facility alongside the Governor of Kakamega, Fernandes Baraza, said the stadium upgrade will be conducted in good time. The renovations will target the right sea section of the pitch, the civil works, lighting and much more.
So this is a collaboration effort that we have been talking about, and we are going to work very closely with the national government to ensure that this stadium is completed, and of course going forward is going to be now the center of sporting events in the Western region.
Buhungu Stadium and Kakamega as a county have proven that they have what it takes to be good hosts, fantastic hosts actually, for big events, big tournaments. It would be remiss of me if I did not acknowledge the people of Kakamega and the passion they bring to football and sports.
Kenyan para-athletes will converge in Uasin Gishu County from Friday to compete at the National Paralympic Trials at the Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Eldoret. More than 11 teams from different counties have arrived in the county already for the 3-day showpiece, which will see Paralympians participate in para-athletics events as a pathway to the 2024 Paris Paralympic Games. The Kenya Golf Union has announced that the start of the international pairs competition in the country during the launch held at the Limuru Country Club on Thursday. The 4th edition of the series will feature 10 qualifying events in various clubs and a grand finale which will be used to determine the players who will represent the country in the World Finals. The first event will be held this coming Saturday, the 20th of January, at the VetLab Sports Club, where more than 40 pairs have already registered to play. And finally, Emilio Nsue scored a hat-trick as Equatorial Guinea closed in on the knockout stages of the 2023 African Cup of Nations by thrashing Guinea-Bissau 4-2. Nsue slotted in the first half opener and struck twice after the break for the first AFCON treble since 2008. Esteban Orozco. That's sports. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm Bernard Ndong.
And that's why we leave it on NTV tonight. Many thanks for watching for all of us here on the broadcast. We appreciate the privilege of your time tonight. I'm Ben Kitili. Good night from Nairobi.
This is NTV.
Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
There's a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
This is NTV.
Let's take a trip. A trip across the vibrant Mombasa city. Whether by road, by rail, or by air, you won't miss to witness the marvel of the solar streetlights. A quiet revolution that is cost-effective and changing the nightlife of motorists and pedestrians. Like a carefully choreographed dance, the solar streetlights sprout across the highway, their elegant designs blending seamlessly into the urban fabric. Its magic extending beyond the aesthetic appeal. Welcome to the revolutionary era of solar by Sentimental Energy. We at Sentimental Energy are shedding light on a brighter and sustainable future through our cost-effective solar solutions.
We lead a team that is involved in providing reliable and affordable energy solutions in East Africa, and our major focus is in renewable energy of solar. So Centrec is involved in design, supply, sale, installation, maintenance, and operations of solar power equipment. We have about probably 50-60 major cities and towns in Kenya that are probably not properly lit. If you're going to sustain our cities, fight climate change, provide security to our neighborhoods and to our motorists, extend economic activities to people who are hustling by providing more time for, let's say, mama bogas to stay more on their trading centers, people to trade a little bit longer, but the border people to give and ply their road uninhibited. Our